Hello there, and welcome to my channel Novice Modelling and the Midlife Crisis. My name is Andy, and today we're going to be doing a quick kit review, what's in the box style, on my TAMIYA Panther AUSF D kit number 35345, which is currently available from a random company that I picked at random. Don't have any connection with them, didn't buy these kits from them, but I've just picked them for a comparison, which is currently for them for sale for £37.95, and is generally available around about £34.95 to £45 in the UK. This kit is based on a new tooling, which is from 2015, and some new parts were added to the kit in 2018. Don't know what they are, so don't message me. Can't tell you what the new parts are. Now, as we can see, as previously, I'm still drinking my DAB Dortmunder Export Lager, which is very tasty. And I'm going to be wearing a different Diet Borussia Dortmund BVB 09 hat, because I'm kind of a bit of a Dortmund fan. When I'm not supporting Liverpool, that is. So we're going to have a quick read through the basic... We're going to have a quick read through the basic blurb, the information provided by TAMIYA about this fascinating vehicle, and then we'll have a quick look at the instructions. So here we go. June the 2nd, 1941. Although the surprise German invasion of Russia, Operation Barbarossa, met with resounding initial success, German reports began to trickle in of a fearsome new armoured enemy. It was the Soviet T-34, and its presence convinced German military planners a successor to the Panzer III and Panzer IV was needed in short order. In November, at the behest of tank guru Guderian, a special team was sent to the front line to assess the T-34, their information forming the basis for development of a new 30-ton tank. Improvements to firepower, armour and mobility were all deemed necessary, and they called for a new turret fitted with the then under development L70 75cm gun. Two competing designs were submitted, and on May 1st, 1942, that of MAN was selected and named Panzerkampfwagen 5 AUSF D Panther. Characteristics of the Panther AUSF D. One of the Panther's most prominent features was its sloped armour, a German take on that seen on the T-34. Welded plates reached 80mm thickness on the front, 40mm on the side and 40mm on the rear. The front plate sporting a shuttered drivered observation port on the left and a pistol port with flap on the right. A bolted hatch for the driver and radio operator was installed over the driver's seat. Extensive sloping was also used on the hexagonal turret, which featured a mantelet with rounded front surfaces as well as a cupola and built-in observation ports. Given its brief to take on the T-34, the Panther had to offer excellent firepower. Its L70 7.5cm gun, able to pierce 138mm of 60-degree armour at 100 metres and 124mm at 1 kilometre and 2 kilometre respectively. Figures improved upon when using high-velocity rounds. A 55 km/h top speed was provided by a 700 horsepower Maybach HL 230 P30 engine. Earlier models used the HL 210, paired with a 7-speed plus reverse ZF AK7 200 transmission. An uncomplicated single radius steering system helped reduce production time. In an effort to provide greater mobility on undulating surfaces, double torsion bar suspension supported the 8 interleaved rubber-rimmed road wheels on each side. A small rubber-rimmed wheel behind front drive and sprockets helped prevent the single block tracks from clogging them up. The Battle of Kursk and baptism of fire. The production of the Panther experienced delays from the off, with the first vehicle completed in January 1943. It was not until the May that its first recipients, the newly formed 51st and 52nd Panzer battalions, were equipped with a full complement of 96 per battalion. In June, the 51st and 52nd battalions were integrated into the 39th Panzer Regiment in readiness for Operation Citadel, a do-or-die assault planned on the Soviet salient around Kursk. By the time Citadel swung into action early on July the 5th, the Panthers had been subordinated to the Grossdeutschland Panzergrenadier Division. However, the Panthers had been hurried off the production line and into the units, and lack of development and training time showed in their disappointing performance, exacerbated by poor minefield reconnaissance. It took 6 hours just for them to catch up with their infantry. And then we can pretty much leave it at that. I mean, most of the rest of this is available on Wikipedia. We actually get a very nice and detailed colour diagrams showing us 3 different variations of camo. Vehicle number 745, vehicle number 432, and vehicle number 445. All in colour. Thanks, Tamiya, that's really helpful. Better than the other 2. Quick look at the instructions, which are provided in booklet form. And as we can see, section 1 is the underneath of the hull. Section 2, we're going to be looking at the wheels. Section 3, we're going to be attaching the wheels to the hull. Section 4, we're going to be putting the wheels on, we're going to be putting the pins on, we're going to be putting this rear section on in section 5. Section 6 is all to do with the back plate and the exhausts. Section 7 is to do with our tracks. Section 8 is going to be putting some of the small parts onto the hull, including some of the frontal hatches. Section 9, we're going to be putting these rear ventilation panels on. Section 10, we're going to be putting these undersides to the gap where the tracks and the wheels are. Section 10, we're going to be looking at more hatches. Section 11, more sort of ventilations on the engine, all our tools, an odd assortment of small hooks and what have you. Section 12, we're going to be looking at the front fenders. These look like lights. That looks like the gun support for when it's in travelling. Section 13, we're going to be looking at more ports again. I think this is the gun cleaning apparatus. Here we're going to put the top of the hull to the bottom of the hull with these little bits. Don't know what they are. Section 16, we're going to put our large cables on, towing cables, and we're going to put our side skirt protections on. Finally, in section 17, we move on to turret assembly. 16, 18, 19 and 20 again is all turret assembly, showing us how we're going to put our gun and put the final finishing touches to our turret. Section 21, we put the turret on. 22 is painting up our crew. And that's pretty much it. So let's have a look at the parts. Again, as per the other 2 Panthers that I've reviewed, which you can find on my channel. Here we have the basic road wheels and the drive sprockets. We have some ventilation covers, some spare tracks. These are for attaching the wheels and sprockets to the actual hull. These parts are obviously for attaching the side skirts on. That's what they're for. And we have an assortment of other small mechanical parts by the look of it to put on as well. There are a total of 2 sprues for these parts. The next sprue we're going to have a look at is this one. This is the back plate, and we have all the parts here of the actual, or some of the parts of the turret, including the mantlet. This is some sort of container, I believe, for gun cleaning apparatus. Here we have the front of the turret. The mantlet goes in here. We have the rear of the turret with its escape hatch. I think these are parts of the commander's cupola. We've got some hatches by the look of it here and here and here. I think these are going to be the smoke launchers. Smoke launchers there. And we have parts of our 2-man crew. It's kind of interesting on this one. There's got some nice detail on the actual figures with these sort of folds and creases on the trousers, what have you. But I've not seen this before with a Tamiya. That doesn't mean anything. I haven't looked at that many Tamiya kits. But the figures are, the bodies are you need to put the 2 pieces together. The faces do have some detail, and they are quite definitely 2 different faces, which is pretty good. I kind of like that idea. Our next sprue, which is the biggest one. Here we have the side skirts. We have an arrangement of pieces here, which I've got to be honest with you, don't know what they are. Here we have some more pieces. This looks like the exhaust system. These are some vents that go on top here for keeping the engine cool, I imagine. This one looks like another hatch. We've got this looks like the gun barrel, but it's single piece. So we've got the end bit for the gun barrel here. This is the base of the turret. And we have the standard sort of assortment of tools and what have you. Axe, jack, no, not jack, or whatever it is. Shovel, some bolt cutters. Is that a toolkit maybe? Not quite sure. Yeah, that all looks pretty good. And then we get the main piece of the turret. You can see some of the welding detail on this one, which I think is pretty absent on the other two kits we've looked at. That's obviously where the commander goes. There are some sort of pits and marks on this one, which kind of adds to a little bit of the interest, because they kind of look like a sort of random machine gun fire or whatever's hit it at some point. The previous kit that I reviewed, the 35170, was very, very bland and plain and smooth. Yeah, so that's okay. Here we have the bottom of the hull itself. We've got slightly more detail going on here, which is than 35170. Again, we've got some sort of pitting marks on the front, which kind of makes it look sort of used. Here we have the front of the hull. Again, it's got, you can see a lot of pitting marks on here. And I'm pretty sure they're intentional and they're not sort of moulding defects, because they are literally all over it. So it just looks to me as though this is to simulate sort of shrapnel, gunfire, whatever. I must admit, I kind of like that. It's a pretty neat touch. We've got vents here. This is obviously where the turret goes in. And here we have our two crewmen's hatches with their machine gun and driver's viewing port at the front. Now this goes on like so, and obviously there are some panels here which you put in here to cover any gapping, so you can't see into the hull itself when you fix it together, which is an improvement over the original 1968 version. So there we go. That's all kind of done. Like I've alluded to, I have done a kit review for the 35065 kit which it was tooled in 1968. I've also done a kit review for its potentially intended replacement, which was 35170. This is the one that goes for around about sort of 25 to 30 pounds. This was a new tool from 1993. As we previously said, this is a tooling from 2015. So this is the current top of the range TAMIYA, I suppose you could call it. And this one goes for sort of 35 to 45. So, oh yeah, we haven't looked at the tracks. Again, the tracks, these are exactly the same tracks as you get with 35170. Get this little bag of bits and bobs here. These are for sprockets for sort of making your wheels move if you wish. We've got a bit of rope and a bit of wire. And we have our decal set. Don't know why they're sort of split like that. I'm not too sure. Kind of looks like they're broken. Don't know. I'm sure we'll find out later. So yeah, so the plan next is to do a fourth video in this little sort of TAMIYA Panther series, where I'm going to make an effort to try and compare some of the parts from the three vehicles. I've never tried doing this sort of thing before, but it kind of seems like an interesting thing to do, because obviously the prices of these kits vary, some sort of £15 to 40 to 45 pounds. So I reckon it's kind of a good idea to know why it is. Why are they so different in price? Why do they come in bigger boxes? Why are they different colours? So many questions. Let's try and see if we can find some answers. So next up will be a kit comparison. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and be seeing you.